The Right Hook, sponsored by VHI Healthcare, Ireland's #1. When it comes to international medical insurance, look no further than VHI International.
Well, my guest is José Luis Muguiro Aznar, director of the famous Spanish wine company Marqués de Riscal. José, welcome to the program.
Thank you so much.
Now, from Madrid, but the company and wine, where's the main wine area of Spain? Where's the wine production?
The company is based in Rioja, and we are the oldest winery in Rioja back to 1858.
Now, Rioja, I've got so many wine experts listening to the program, and they're going to laugh at my lack of knowledge. But the Spaniards are best at red wines rather than white wines, isn't that so?
Yes, Rioja is known by red wines worldwide, and is one of the best wine regions in the world producing red wines.
But your company, the Marqués de Riscal, it uses a French method going way back to the sort of beginnings of the company and so on. What's so special about the method? That's
correct. Back to 1858, the local governor of Rioja invited a French winemaker from Satola-Nesan to come to teach the growers of Rioja to make the wine like the French method, Médoc style. That the thing is that you need to age the wine in barrel for 3 years before to release. So the local growers, they were not interested because they were selling the wine every year. Said, we cannot keep the wine 3 years, we will lose money. So they said, send this French back, we don't want him. So the Marqués de Riscal decide to hire him, and this is why we start Marqués de Riscal in 1858 with the French method.
No, but that's true. Even though the Spaniards of 1858 or whatever realized that storing wine for 3 years was going to be difficult economically, surely even today, in the 21st century, storing wine for a number of years is an economic risk, is it not? Because you got it there for 3 years, then you open it in 3 years' time and you say, hola, it's not very good.
Well, I think what we are doing is giving an advantage to the consumer. What we are doing with the French, that I like very much the French wine, but they sell the wine in primeur. What we are doing is selling the wine when it's ready to drink. So the consumer, when he opens a bottle of Rioja, he knows he's ready to drink. And today it's very difficult to have wine cellars and to keep the wine. So I think what Rioja is doing is working a lot for the consumer.
Right, now my guest from the Marqués de Riscal winemakers is the director and general sales manager, José Luis Muguiro Aznar, because you're a winemaker, and that's the company's primary job. And then did you not, as a company, and perhaps you as director, take a risk in deciding to put in a hotel and a restaurant, moving away from what your regular business is?
Well, for us, that we did was quite a risk, because that hotel we made was quite unique, because it's a very modern, built by the famous architect Frank Gehry, who built the Guggenheim in Bilbao. So it was a big change to the family back to 1858 to build a very modern building. That is absolutely the opposite to the stony architecture we have. It was quite a big risky, but it was amazing how Frank Gehry integrates the old building with the new building, which is made in titanium.
Right, the history of Spanish wines, because when we now look at so many modern wines from different countries like Australia, New Zealand, we've seen now Chile is becoming very strong. This is, for a consumer, he gets a huge choice, and presumably for the consumer, he also gets a very economic price, I think, because of the competition. What are the outstanding features of Rioja wine for somebody who's never tried Spanish wine before?
Well, this is a very good question to tell you. I think the advantage of Rioja, and inside of Rioja Riscal, is to make wine that go with food. That is quite interesting, because today you can make the new wines. They are fantastic for tasting, some of the wines with very good aroma, with very good flavor, but sometimes they are too powerful to go with food. And to give you one example, We started to export our wine to Australia 2 years ago, and we become huge in Australia. We are selling now close to 400,000 bottles. We receive some articles in Australia because the Australian consumer, when he tastes Riscal, he decide that he go very well with the Australian barbecue, and we are selling really good. So that means wines that go well with food is an elegant, fine, with balance, but that they need to go with food.
Okay. Now, in front of me, I have 2 bottles here. What have I got in front of me?
Well, you have 2 bottles here. You have first the bottle of the Reserva, which is our flagship of the company.
Before you go, because your English is so good, where did you learn your English?
Well, I learned my English in Cork, and let me tell you, when I come to Ireland, I have a very good memories. I used to play polo, and in those days, and my father decided that I needed to learn English. Sent me to London. I didn't learn any language in London, so the next destination was a dairy farm in Cork. So I learned how to milk cows, and I was in a village called Rivestick, with a wonderful family. It was the family was grandfather, father, and mother, and 4 sons. And I learned to milk cows, to play hurling, and I was there for 6 months, and I learned English with the daughter of the blacksmith of Kinsale.
Oh. Yes, I find it's easier to learn a language if you meet the daughter of somebody. I found that also, but it didn't help my Spanish. Thank you so much for joining me. Every good wish to Riscal. It's the Marquesa de Riscal, the Prima Reserva, which my guest, José Luis Muguiro, has now, you heard him say, 4 million bottles?
No, in total, the company is much bigger because we produce a white wine. In total, we produce 11 million bottles, but they're different wines.
11 million bottles, heavens above. José, thank you so much for joining me, and good luck with your product here in Ireland.
Thank you so much.
Well, that's it for today.